Okay, thank you for joining us, guys, today. Today on the N2 Continuum broadcast, we're joined by Marcela, a multi-dimensional teacher, near-death experiencer, and guide helping people reconnect with their inner light and sovereignty. After experiencing herself as pure vibration and eternal light during a near-death experience, Marcella returned with a deep remembrance of our connection to Source and the multi-dimensional nature of reality. She now works with people from all walks of life to help them expand beyond limitation, reconnect with their higher awareness, and explore what it means to live from joy, freedom, and unconditional love. Marcella, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. The
Thank
floor
you,
is
and
yours. Yeah, how are you?
thank you so much for having me. I was looking forward to this, to working with someone like you who's also spreading light in the world and assisting people with higher learnings. That's what we call higher learnings.
Uh-huh.
That you work with Dolores Cannon's work, and that's really
Thank
exciting
you.
for me. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Um, what do you what made you connect like with Dolores Cannon? Like what's that?
I don't know all of her work, but I had clients and people that have done her work, and they teach in
Mhm.
that as well. And most of what intrigues me a lot was her information that she received from working with clients in hypnotherapy, and that a lot of that aligns with my multidimensional experiences.
Yeah.
And that actually I felt very excited many times when I met. I remember a client who was just sharing her experiences herself in multi dimensions, and that she had been doing Doris Cannon's work as well. So it's really exciting that all of us are kind of interconnecting now, and for me that is
Yeah.
super exciting because for a long time I was on my own and I was really hoping to meet other people that were experiencing life this way,
Yeah.
because when you're alone at first, you feel like you're the only one in the planet, in the universe, and it's really hard to go back because once you're awake, you can't go back to sleep. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I was bullied a lot at the beginning, but then I realized my own projections of fear as well. So I had to work on my own fear coming out and with this information. And well, obviously now is more, I think humanity is more ready to hear and experience more of our own evolution as a soul, not
Yeah.
just as humans walking about, but more that we are multidimensional, that that's our nature, and that we are existing in different planet systems, different dimensional systems, and we are evolving as a species. And that's so exciting for evolved souls like for myself, and I can sort of sense for you too. So it's really exciting.
No, it's like I like this whole like spiritual awakening, I guess, thing happened in my life not too long ago.
Yeah.
And like I never knew like this type of community was even out there having these kinds of conversations. And I felt it was kind of amazing too to see that it feels like it's like it for whatever there's this thing going on that's bringing all of these particular types of souls, I guess, we're
Mm.
connecting all of a sudden. And I feel
Yeah.
like I'm doing that with all of you guys. Like, whoa, it's like, and when I was doing with like, when I was getting into doing the QHHT for people, I guess it kind of tripped me out when I would meet somebody
Mm.
and they would be kind of like, I
Mm.
know you or something, or they would have a vibe with me. And I
Yeah.
started to get that vibe too with certain people. And then when I
Yeah.
put them under and I get to talking to their higher self, and I'm like, how does this person know me? Or why do I feel that way? And then all of a sudden they tell me some some stuff I never thought I would hear in my life, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
And so yeah, so it's really awesome to hear somebody else say that too, like acknowledge that. Um,
Yeah.
so what, like, so you've been doing this pretty much your entire life then, like,
Yeah, I'm one of those souls that just came in like this into this lifetime, even though I was bullied as a child as well, because when I made attempts to talk about it, it was like, this was in South America, in Chile. And then I kept it to myself, you know. I teleported when I was 7 years old in the middle of the war during the dictatorship with Pinochet in Chile. At 5 years old, I had miracle with Mother Mary who healed me as well. We were not Catholics, but we were just part of that collective. My mother didn't want us to baptize or do first communion, so which I'm grateful today because I was able to explore so many other religions. But teleporting to another dimension at such a young age, and in the middle of something where I was in the middle of the streets, the riots and tear gas, and then I didn't want to be there. And I believe the soul just connects you, and then suddenly I look down my feet, which is usually how it happens. I looked down my feet, my sandals, and I was holding hand with who I know now is Archangel Sakiel, who's been with me quite a lot since then. And then on the other side, I was holding hand with an extraterrestrial, an ET, which they always been with me, and they were taking me and protecting me in some way. But I was safe. I was so happy, and I was in a higher dimensional field where all over was white light. There was peace and calm, and I was taken to what I call a gateway station. And a gateway station is a higher dimensional field. It's like a power station that is just stationary in a place, and people go there to get respite care. And so I was taken there as a child, and I could see some other children that lived in the neighborhood where we lived in Santiago. And it was really strange because I felt, oh, they're here. You know, I was so excited, and there were tables and tables. There were masses of people, but most of them were children like me, and we were all being taken there, and it was like like I said, a respite care, but also they were examining my energy, and those beings were looking at what energy I had here on the left side, and I could see them on the right side. And these beings, I know now who they were. They were the Greys, and they're interdimensional beings. And that I ended up working with them later on with my shamanic work. But the interesting thing then was that I knew who they were. I knew what I was doing there. And I knew there was many children like me that had come into this place of war. But we came to assist the whole. And that changed my whole life because I could see the spacecraft hovering above my bed. It was very tiny one, not big one. And so growing up like that, I always felt like I was walking between two worlds. And I was daydreaming most of my life. I still do these things, you know, because I'm talking to other dimensions. I'm interacting with higher beings. And when you come into this planet with the memories, they're like that. And then I was given dreams about Atlantis, Lemuria, and I was working with these energies that I knew that I was here to remember, but also to help. And then that took me on to other adversities that I experienced also in Chile. But most of all, I preserved that all throughout my life. So I always felt like third dimension was painful and fifth dimension was just joy. And I know now that a lot of people feel like that today. You know, you're seeing the wars outside, you're seeing all of these catastrophic things that are happening, and then on the next day, you may feel like you're having a ball, or you have this euphoria or this joy. And I have met people that feel a little bit bipolar because of this. But it is actually because we are splitting apart this bifurcation that is happening, where we are going more into fifth dimension, and that more people are coming up. And so you're still going to have these memories of 3D. You're still going to have this template where you're letting it go. And as you let it go more with ease and grace, you're going to feel more grounded, if you like, more together integrated into a higher dimension. So all of that changes the biology. Our bodies are changing dramatically again now because of everything that is happening. So we're decrystallizing, we are co-creating with our spirit even more so. And for people like me who've been doing this for many years, I'm actually, this is what I've been waiting for, you know. And when I meet other people, we're just excited, because even though it may feel and may look very catastrophic and doom and gloom in the external world, this is the time where we had more light into this body than ever before, into this planet ever before, into the fields ever before. So all the dimensions are changing because of this. It's affecting this galaxy. It's affecting so much, even though it's a simulation, but simulations do change. So we came here to make these changes to assist the beings who want to. Not everybody has to, and not everybody will, but to go through the stage of ascension, so you realize and remember that we are just atoms and particles walking about, you know, literally expanding and contracting and co-creating through this dream. I call it the dream time. Like many indigenous communities in South America and here in Australia, also the Aboriginal people. In South America, we have Mapudungun, where you go into this dream time, and Mapudungun is the universal language that we all have. So we can start talking in a language that unites us rather than separates us. And this is Lemuria as well, you know. So what I say, what I think, and what I feel is in coherence, and then it can become a decree. So what I want to manifest or co-create, we're co-creating new worlds, new realities. And so for the new civilizations, the new children that are coming in now, especially now, the even children and beyond, so they can assist this new creation, the new paradigm, and what is coming into us from the higher dimensions, from 7, 12 dimensional fields. So there's a lot of light, a lot of photonic light from the sun, from the waters, from the memories, everything that is awakening us, and more people are awakening because of this. So I'm super duper excited now, because it's kind of what I've been waiting for all my life. So, but I feel that the higher we go upon the ladder, we are given different tasks and assignments, and we keep evolving. So I'm doing other things as well.
Yeah.
So the evolution is inevitable, and we keep evolving to higher learnings, to higher, and bring in more, we call it love, but it's the frequency of the white light of the brethren, the white light of all of us, that it's innately in us. Yeah. So that's a bit of a long.
No, I mean it's kind of like my perspective, I think, has been a lot more, maybe the word I'm thinking of is like superficial. Like I
Yeah.
don't like I mean, if I in my I guess like maybe we all have like these intuitions and all that kind of stuff, but me in my life, I'm not practicing or feel like I'm not doing that. But it's for me, it was like I was like, I don't want to go into all the whole political conversation, but when I kept hearing that things are about to start getting exposed and the house of cards are about to fall down, and it's going to happen starting in like maybe 2025. I was like, how in the world is that going to happen? Because the world I was looking at when I was hearing that was like, that sounds like almost impossible to me. But
Mm,
then now it's happening. And like I said, I don't want to get in all the politics. I don't care who's in office. I'm
yeah.
just really stunned that that right there is something I was kind of being, to me, that was a message I was like, is that a pivotal moment that to like an indication to me that all the other stuff I'm hearing is real? And now seeing it with my own eyes right now, it's like, whoa, this is actually real. And and so like I'm really like walking around like I just want to be with myself.
Mm.
Like now at this point, I want to, all the politics, all the mess going on out there, I'm ready to just push it all away. And I know it's now, I know something out there is happening, but I feel like it's what's happening in my life and within me. That's the most important thing in my reality, you know?
Yes. And I understand that totally. We were in the US. I was twice last year and this year, not this year, last year. And something has to collapse in order for something to emerge. Yeah. And so what we're seeing now, like you said, people didn't believe that it would happen. And for something to give birth here for more light, if you have like a whole ball of dark denser frequency and it's like so tight, and then you have just one ray of light that is in a photonic field, that is speed of light that is much faster and accelerated, the whole structure crumbles. It has to start, interrupts, and it moves until it crumbles completely because it allows more light to come in. And so what we're seeing now is that we can use that as a I call it trampoline, but we can use that to elevate us, to allow us to take a leap, a quantum leap of consciousness and change timelines. So nothing has gone wrong. Nothing has gone actually really outside of what the light desires, because the light is an interrupter of the dark, and the dark is not another force. It's actually just a denser part of the light that it decided to isolate. And that's what we love coming to experience here on the planet. The soul loves to experience this in order to see, how am I going to alchemize this? How am I going to manipulate this frequency? Like Jeshua, the masters that have walked this planet did exactly the same. Where, how am I going to use this sacred geometry, my sound, my decree, my command, and outside of this, and come out and bring more light and return to my origin whilst being here with my human side and my divine aspect. So we integrate both in this. I don't call it vessel because I believe we're so vast frequencies. I don't call it container either. And it is a temple, but it's a vast frequency of different templates. It's a field, it's a living library that we hold. And when I work with clients, when I work with people, we can see all the library territorial fields, we can see morphogenetic fields. We have so much information that we carry around. So not just in the hippocampus gland in our brain, because that's just a construct. Our informations are here. So that's why when we come into with people, you can sense it, like you mentioned, they know you. Yeah, because when you come up to the fifth dimensional fields, you start remembering more, even in fourth field, but you remember, oh yes, I know you from Lemuria, I know you from another planet, I know. And then the higher we go is that we are all interconnected, and the truth is that we all know each other. We all part of that sisterhood and brotherhood. But the more that we go into this, everyone looks so familiar because you are in that dimension. that you made a collective agreement with, and they are the brotherhoods and the sisterhoods that we make agreements with from other lifetimes, from this lifetime. We could have made the agreement last night, and we literally co-create together in the moment, and something else comes up. And I usually meet people that I know where we have been teaching and remember them in the spacecraft. So I say to them, we saw you on the spacecraft just 3 weeks ago, and then they start to cry, and then suddenly something connects, and they say, okay, yes, I remember. So what were we talking about? This, awakening, and then we can go into again, and then bring that into these more tangible experiences that we can have here. So that's super exciting for me because I always feel that new things are coming up all the time. And not one person carries the same information as another. We're all part of putting these pieces of the puzzle together.
Mhm.
And so there's no competition. There cannot be any comparison or more or less than. So that changes our perception, how much each of us the libraries, the living libraries that we bring forward when they're activated, and then we can co-create together and bring so much more love and understanding from source, and we anchor it here through our codes. And so that's really exciting to connect. That's why I was excited to connect with you, because you're working with those sort of frequencies and reconnecting, reactivating something that is innately in you. And so when we hear the calling, we say, okay, I'm going to be the next one. I'm going to go through this, um, whatever the new pathway spirit's taken me. So there's no
Yeah.
ego. There's no ego. It
Yeah,
cannot be.
for a good minute there, I was once I built this platform and I was thinking about, um, I guess like kind of the marketing plan that I had in place for it to get the word out on it. A lot of things kept shifting and changing, and I kept
Mm,
thinking to myself, like, I think at some point in time I'm going to have to use YouTube and do something like this. And then I
yes.
heard, well, there was another content creator, and I can't remember who it was, but the person was channeling somebody, and the person the I don't forget who was she was this person was channeling, but this person said that all these different content creators are like different flavors,
Mm,
and you're going to mesh with this flavor, that person's going to mesh with that flavor, and but eventually you're going to find the flavor that you mesh with, and that's what's going to become a part of your process. And
yeah.
so I know not everybody is going to mesh with me, but I do know I have my own personality, and some people will, and so yeah, so like, and all the other content creators that I've watched on here, I see more and more popping up right now. And it's like
Yeah.
that right there is also an indication to me that this conversation is growing. And and then and then you maybe also think of something a moment ago too, is like like I there was a moment in time before this whole thing happened for me, or that came into my life, where I started whatever this awakening thing, where
Yeah.
I would have looked at somebody like you, and I would have been like, probably like cracking jokes, I guess. And and because I'm very good at cracking jokes, but it's like this conversation is like, it's real to me. It's like
Yeah.
there's like I have not experienced, at least in this lifetime, I have not stepped into a spacecraft or stepped into these other realities. Maybe I have through putting people under, you know,
Yeah.
but it's, to me, it's like, man, it hits me right here,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's undeniable. It's like, I know I'm here. This is where I'm supposed to be, you know?
Yeah. And that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Anthony, because usually that's what happens to us when all of us. when we hear the calling, and then you're in a different dimension of field and a different pathway, and we follow that algorithm, and you meet the exact people that you're meant to meet in that pathway, and then you're done with that, and it moves on. You're doing more work on yourself, and then we go on to another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then we take big leaps sometimes, and then we take another leap, and then it starts again, the same process again and again. And what we're doing with this, what I feel with these conversations, we're normalizing these conversations, and just this is the new norm. And for me, that
Yeah.
is so exciting that we're having these new children coming in, multi-dimensional children, neurodivergent kids that I worked with. I love them so much. And they are telepathic, they're multi-dimensional. You're having these new young kids coming in that I had the privilege to work with as well. And they speak a different language. They're not talking about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This is, oh yeah, the universal force and the physics of these realities. And so in some way, humanity is catching up a little bit, to what we truly are. And these kids are here, and parents, I met many parents, I call them moms and bobs. I worked with parents that couldn't connect to these kids. And they asked me, somehow we made, this algorithm brings them to me. And then we're working. I said, nothing wrong with your baby. There's just a beautiful baby who's spinning so fast, and how long is this? I'm spinning. And then we just have to work with you, with the parents. So you accelerate your frequency, you can return to your heart center, and then you can connect in a much bigger way to these kids, because many are having these gaps between how am I connecting to these young kids that are accelerating at such a fast frequency. So we have to upgrade our frequency, our resonance in order to meet. And so, and that can be done, that's part of the work that I do as well. I've done many of that because I feel that because I experienced that myself, where my parents, I couldn't connect very much. But I wish I had somebody like me that could explain to them, what I was experiencing. So I've been able to do that myself, working with parents that don't understand their multidimensional kids. And that's been a really satisfying way of working that helped me to understand my own process and how I came into this planet and the adversities I experienced and the whole lot. And so I think life has already, in some way, when we say yes, new things we co-create with others and start making sense, because it's being carried by an intelligence. It's not the mind creating this. It's just the intelligence that we carry that co-creates something that helps us to understand ourselves, and then we can co-create with others. Because as facilitators, we're always learning. We never stop learning, ever. So we're learning and sharing from each other here, and the same things happen. Then we co-create something new and something that we haven't done. And so we're never going to be really fully done. We're always co-creating new worlds, new things, new vibrations. And that's the exciting part about infinity, and that I cherish a lot, because it keeps us on our toes, and it keeps us humble, and it keeps the ego aside. It's not really part of what we're bringing forward. Yeah.
When you talk about these kids, are they like what people refer to as like these hybrid kind of kids?
They
Is
are the
that
hybrid. Yeah. Some, they are the hybrids, they are the e-booms, they are, what they call the Gen Zs. I'm not very excited about calling people Gen Zs and millennials, and because it keeps us trapped in a linear vibration, and I
uh-huh.
think I'm very careful when I say these things, because it's not that this happened yesterday. Sometimes it's appropriate to say, okay, it happened yesterday for the sake of this conversation, or that it was a linear term. But because we are multidimensional, all is happening concurrently. So the kids are here, my past is here, present is here, future is here, and it's all horizontally more than vertical. And so these children see life that way. They see life, this is all happening that way, like me and many other beings. We see, oh, okay, there I am, and as a child, there I am in this lifetime, and there I am on another lifetime, there I am in Egypt, there I am in Lara, there. And so it's all happening here. And these children operate on those levels, and they bring in new things, like new inventions. This is so exciting. I've seen kids inventing stuff with AI and other stuff that is just mind-blowing. Little ones, 10, 14-year-olds, and even a 3-year-old, which has been the youngest that I ever seen. But I was in the babies are just been in. But the 3-year-old was amazing in kindergarten, moving frequency, and we just drumming together, and he just moves energy. 3-year-old, and I'm like moving energy, manipulating the frequencies at the kindergarten, and all the kids were drawn to him. All of even the teachers, they couldn't explain why. But it was his abilities that he brought into this lifetime. And so we're having these kids that are coming in with that sovereignty and intelligence, fresh, completely fresh, and they're utilizing it, but they need our support. So I'm usually there to tell them, we are supporting you here. We love you. We are grateful that you're here, so they don't get bullied and they don't get kicked out of the school, and they don't feel like they're less than, because the enormous responsibility, these kids come in with that responsibility. And I felt that as a child, and you don't know why you have this tremendous responsibility and you don't know where it's coming from, but it's because of the agreements that we made with collectives, with the planet. And so, and they have that. And so that's why we're finding some teenagers are going into depression, because it's very difficult for them to please the parents and then be able to co-create. So for me, it's very important to support them and to let people know this is who they are. They came in with AI to utilize AI in a different manner, but we have to still, we're working with our morality, so we can come into more into integrity, so we don't have so much abuse of kids and abuse of women. So all of this is also part of the whole. Nothing is outside of it. All that is all that is. All that is. And so all of this, what's happening on the planet, is interconnected. Yeah. And so in some way, we have to be aware of the whole, and with our own experiences, transcending it, transforming it, and changing our perception. And so that's pure alchemy. That's using the gifts that we have inside of us. And these kids already come in with all of this. That's so exciting. So it gives us hope that the new civilizations, they are utilizing frequency in an entirely new way to what we have. And so that for me is, because I love working with dimensions, with the grids of Gaia. I love working with different planet systems and co-creating with the Intergalactic Federation. We are the diplomats in this planet. That's why I love creating alliances with people. And that's why I love traveling. I'm a bit of a gypsy as well, but co-creating and creating alliances with people, knowing that we are sort of creating a new grid. Yeah. And that's what you were talking about at the beginning, how we are all meeting at this point, because we are creating a new grid that we have co-created together. And those new grids collapse the old one, because these are based on love and integrity, on transparency and multidimensionality. And that is finally here. So for us now is to keep navigating these new corridors of no time, no space. So we collapse time, then we collapse space, and we can go in more into that 0 point, which is what's happening right now. So everything else around it has to collapse. Abuse is not going to be in, it doesn't it doesn't gel with sovereignty. And so fear and anything that is based on fear, abuse, obliterations, or oppressions or suppressions of the people, it doesn't co-create, it doesn't align with that which we're bringing in with sovereignty, unity. And so because we're bringing more unity, it has to be created in a new dimension. That's why the old one, you're seeing all of these things coming up, and and you get horrified. Well, they were always here, unfortunately. But we are eternal beings of light. We are sovereign beings, and no matter what happens, even to children and women, I know this is hard to digest, but we are still sovereign beings. We're still multidimensional beings. We still go back home in our hearts. We're still infinite creations. So we're infinite beings co-creating and expressing ourselves into these realities. So that's really exciting. And to me, that's everything. Yeah.
Like a moment ago, you kind of mentioned Gaia. Like, what is Gaia's role in all this, and what role do we play with Gaia, and where is that relationship with Gaia going?
That's a good question. We call it Pachamama in Quechua and Pacha. And so Pacha is a body and it's an organism. Yeah. And she has co-created with us, with star seeds and other beings from higher dimensions. She has co-created so much for us to be here, to experiment, to co-create, to become the hybrids, to play, and to also bring joy. And so she has done this for all of us, co-creating with the whales, co-creating like in Antarctica, and co-creating with everything, the mountains, the bodies of energies, the sacred sites. So she has co-created and allow all of us to come and do these amazing things that we have done before, incrementally in Lemuria, Atlantis, or other places like in Egypt or in South America, in Mexico. So what she has done is created an amazing ecosystem, yeah, that is self-sustained. It's self-sustained. And so because it's been self-sustainable, humans have come in and interrupted all of that and just interfere and a lot of times abuse her and rape those natural parts of her. And what she's doing now, she's transcending also to multi-dimensional parts of herself, because she also has what I call the cities of light, the higher dimensions of the fifth dimensions and beyond, 12th dimension, 13 dimensions. And she said she is opening up this 13 dimension for all of us, with those that were working with her. And she is kind of transcending all of what she is, but eventually she's retrieving also because she's done her work. Once she transcends all of this, we become the guardians here, the children also, you, me, all of us, we become the guardians. We anchor our energy here, the coats of light that we are. And so we permeate, all permeates from me, and I am the one in charge in this section here. We co-create together and we keep honoring her. We pay homage to her. We are devoted to her. And so she keeps thriving in what she is doing also. There is a lot of patterns also that she has done and we have done against her and she has done against us. And so all of this is balancing out with Gaia, with Pacha as well. And she works with the dream. So she is such an intelligent organism. The whole reason I'm here on the planet is because of her. And I believe all of us are. And many indigenous communities, like in Maputungun, Mapuche communities in South America, Kawesca, even here, we all know that some people believe that we come from her, but it's actually that we co-create with her to come into here. So we are her. We are Pacha, because we have these water elements within us. We have this fire inside of us. We have the ethers, the air. And so all of these elements that she works with, we work and we have that inside of us. So she's not a foreign organism. She's actually part of us. And because a lot of us are realizing and awakening that the trees have families, that the rocks, the clan of the rocks do have a vibrational field. Everything has a field. The table, the house, the shopping center, the train stations, all of the things that I experience myself. And they can disappear in a moment. They can appear. So the atoms and particles, we're constantly co-creating, constantly. And she knows that. So when we connect with her, we usually cry because it reminds us of our own nature, our own sovereignty. And so she says, okay, grow up now and stop the abuse and just get on with what we have to do, which is co-created with love and sovereignty and integrity. And then she will help us tremendously because she takes us where we have to be, where we have to go. She opens up the moon. At one point I remember I was going to the Blue Mountains in Australia and we got lost. And the moon just beamed to us. My Pachamama just opened the pathway. This is nighttime. And we were able to get out of there. And we're praying there. And then even the spacecrafts came on and we were able to get out of that pathway. So we're co-creating with her rather than conquering, like it's been in this planet. We don't, this is in my book, we don't conquer the mountain. These conquering colonization days are over. We revere the mountain. And if it lets us in, we'll go in. If it doesn't, respect. Yeah. And so the mountains have these algorithms and they have their own body of energy. So Pachamama has created all of that for us. And I love it because whenever we go to the mountains, I'm a mountain girl. We go to the mountains and then you see what is truly there. The tunnels of light, the cities of light, the beings that reside inside of them. And in South America, I grew up with this, it's kind of a secret, but everybody knows. We just respect the mountain. The Andes Mountains, and so you just pay your respect because it is our protector. And so it's like the secret that everybody knows, And so if we respect that, we go there. If not, you don't. And so it's a very different upbringing. And the mountain speaks. The mountain has dreams. The mountain is like old sacred sites in the planet. So it's a vast answer to what you're asking, because what is Pacha, this organism, this magnificent living library that we are incredibly blessed, and the gift of being here with her and each other is a gift. Life is a gift. And so I am presence tells us that as well. So yeah, that's another part of where we're going into.
So like I know like the word like spirituality, I think has become kind of hijacked by religion a little bit.
Mm.
How do you like define like that? Because your experiences with like all these different dimensions and then the ETs too, and then you're like there was a point in time in my life where I was like, how are these pieces related to each other? Like I would go to a church or something and be like, well, where are the ETs at in how come where are they at in this whole story? And then later on, I'd gotten to a show called Ancient Aliens, and I was like, oh, so these pieces are starting to fall together a little bit.
Yeah.
And now it's like it seems like in that cosmos, I don't know what spirituality is. It's just a way of being, right? And
Yeah.
here we're kind of like, yeah, how do you see all that? And like,
That's an interesting point because I feel that spirituality is being tossed around and used as a label rather than, to me, spirituality is about spirit, the path of spirit, the path of that self. And I agree with you in the sense on how we have not respected spirit, been being disconnected from spirit. And so spirituality it's really not what it is. It's more, and I agree with you, it's a state of being, is the path of thyself, is the remembrance of oneself, the the sovereignty of oneself, and then we can see and change our perception of the world and realities around us without the distortions that you're speaking about, because there are many distortions in Egyptian terms. It's the whole of Amenti. How do we discern what is real and what is my reality? And discernment in the hall of mirrors, in the hall of Amenti, where you go in the pyramid of Giza in Egypt, you go under and then you feel this is like a test to ourselves. What is real? What is me? Yeah. And how am I going to navigate through this distortion? And how am I going to bring that to a reality, a way of perception in me, that I can get out of this distortion of the matrix and return to my light? And that is really exciting, because I remember when I went the first time in 2006, I was tested. When everyone was talking. I went with a group from the States and different places, and in my knowingness, I had my own way of doing things, but I was asked to put souls in crystals. And I'm like, you don't put souls in crystals. And it's like, why would you put a soul in a crystal? And so, but I believe then, because I was still learning and remembering more, you have to see through that distortion. You can't encapsulate something so vast in something so little. Even though there have been experiments in this planet that has happened. So I was grateful for that experience, because it got me thinking, can you do that? No, no. It goes against our own nature. So obviously I wasn't participating in that experience, because it wasn't what I knew in my heart. But great teachers come that way. They teach us and they push us. They push us to, what's your truth? So I stand in my truth and my light. But discernment, especially today, you have AI, you have so much out there. How are you going to discern? And the best way to discern what is true to me doesn't have to be true to everybody, but it's thyself, your truth, my truth. What is my truth here? How am I going to discern that? Is to follow your heart and to see if your heart chakra opens up, you're going into the right place. If it closes off, you don't go there. You don't make a decision. And so there is this heart chakra, which is our barometer, is our power. Heart chakra detonates. People don't know that it detonates. It goes, sometimes people say, oh yeah, it goes 2 to 3 meters. No, 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 no. It goes miles and miles away. Free energy is here on the planet to stay. Free energy, yeah, which is all of us, what we are here to bring back. Free energy. So free energy us when we detonate, and the energy of the heart chakra amplifies on its own, because the heart self does it for us. And it goes miles and miles and miles and miles away. You can't see the beginning, you can't see the end. And so we stand in that truth and light. That can override millions that are in fear. And so we surrender to that. I surrender. I don't know. Yeah. And so the mind shuts down, because the mind cannot go that far. You see, this is what happens when if you're trying to make sense of something, it's better to just leave it, and you will receive the answer after. After that happens. An experience like that is quite tremendous, because you're in an alpha state, you're beyond delta state even, because you might feel like you're falling asleep. And in that state of being, you just allow the true self to reveal itself. These are beautiful states of consciousness that we all have inside of us, And so the only thing that stops that from happening is the ego, because the ego said, no, no, that's not possible. No, you can't. No, I'm not good enough, and I'm not alive enough. I'm not awakened enough. Yes, you are. All of us are. So it's just letting go of the narratives that we tell ourselves. And because I didn't know that either, I didn't know that this heart chakra that we have, it detonates. So then one day it just started happening. I was out of myself. It's like you're out of you, watching you having these experiences that changes the narratives in our brain, but it changes us physiologically, and it changes how we perceive the world, and the world that we're perceiving changes. So these are not just, I don't like talking about experiences like just a transactional thing, because each experience that we have in our evolution, it changes us. Then we have to train the mind to become better than, and go into that experience, and then change our patterns of behavior, change what we think about it, change everything so we can maintain in that dimension. So it's a lot that we have to process and go through whenever we have experiences, and don't leave it just like that. It's enter and more immerse yourself into. If you immerse yourself into one experience, you're going to change that dimension. Your whole entire reality changes dramatically, as you know. It's a bit of a long answer, but yes.
No, that was really cool. Well, yeah, it was
What
so I wanted to give you a chance to talk about some of the services you provide, some of the one-on-one work or what you do. You said you wrote a book, but I didn't see that on your site. Or maybe I overlooked it.
No, no, it's coming. My book is
Oh,
is coming. I'm still in the final stages of re-editing, and hoping that, yeah, it will be published end of this year. Um, the book is about this. It's my own personal experiences, and it's also about multi-generational trauma. And so I talk a lot about earthly things as well as because it's all part of it. Yeah. And it's about trauma as well, but how we can relate to that and heal it, transform it, transcend it, so our perception of the what we experience changes, and we can still walk between two dimensions or three, four, or many all dimensions at one time. And I share a lot of my experiences there in my book. And but that's upcoming to the end of the year. And I work with groups, and also I take groups to South America, Peru, Egypt. Egypt just an additional for the last 3 years, 2 years, yeah, and Tibet as well. But I'm also exploring other places this year, which is something really exciting. But my main work, I run also 3-day workshops, retreats, where we are, but I also do online work, a lot of online work with groups as well as individual as well. That where what I do is taking people and assisting them to let go of whatever trauma. Yeah. But first we expand the field. It's easier to do it reverse. I usually expand the field, and we're talking about the library that is in your field, and therefore you can let go easier to what is no longer serving in the field, like trauma or templates, or different parts of rods of light that are there, and what lifetimes are working during this time, in order to just accelerate and see your angelic ancestry, your cosmic ancestry, and working from that perspective. And a lot of people end up doing this work, working with the vortexes of energies around the planet or where they are. But I do believe self-development is very important for this, because then the ego doesn't rise up, and then you feel like you know it all. We don't. So I think it's important to heal the traumas, to work with the traumas, and then you realize there is intergalactic traumas as well. that we bring from other planet systems, the Orion wars, the Ilarian wars. And so we bring all that here in order to balance it all, to heal it, and stay in that equanimity. And I work with Kuan Yin, I trance with Kuan Yin a lot. And she helps us on the trips that we go to as well. And she's a great teacher. Everything that I teach, we kind of, she teaches her side, I teach my side, and we just co-create with such a master, and I learn from her so much. So, and she's not just a deity, but to me, she's one of the greatest masters on the planet right now, because she brings a lot of unconditional love, which I learned from her, and a lot of compassion and mercy. Mercy is something really what I feel we need the most right now, clemency, to have mercy for somebody else, even if they committed a crime. You know, sometimes people don't forgive what the parents did for a lifetime. Oh no, I don't talk to them, I don't forgive them. And so let's look at it from a higher perspective, because we've chosen our biological families, all families, we've chosen them for a reason to grow, to transcend, to transform. So otherwise you get stuck in fear and fragmentation. So all of this is involved, but it's happening much quicker now because of the vibrations that are much faster. And then to be able to teleport and see yourself in other lifetimes, to bring the fan, what I call the fan, that you see yourself in other lifetimes, right here. Everything is here happening, all of it. Then it expands. So it's to let go and let God, Goddess, all it is. You can call it universe, Krishna, Allah, doesn't matter. What matters is that it's the consciousness. And so we can forgive ourselves, forgive the wars, forgive those who are killing people. And so we bring better understanding of what is actually happening from higher realms, because you don't see this in the news. You don't see this in social media much either. Now we're bringing more understanding, so you can perceive life from a much higher perspective, that not everything is doom and gloom, that there are other alternatives, and you can live your life this way also. So it's, in a nutshell, it's quite a lot, but we always focus on what the person needs in the moment, or the group. Yeah.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
for being here, Marcela.
You.
If you want to tell everybody how they can connect with you, I'll have it all in the description. I'll share with them through the site and stuff. But yeah, if you want to go for it.
They can go to my website. I'm actually developing a new website, but the old one is still up. It's marcelatoro.org, Marcela with one L, Marcela, Toro, Toro.org. And my new website will be coming up soon when my book comes up. And also I'm on social media, I'm in YouTube, but that's also changing because I'm getting a podcast as well. So it's really exciting. So I'm putting my old YouTube content into the podcast. I'm also on SoundCloud with a few meditations there. If anybody would like to that, it's I am that I am. It's a high powerful mantra that you can go into and say it every day. That is all of the words that I speak that we can command, like in Lemuria, you know, the Kabbalah also knows this. The words that we speak are commands, decrees, and so you can command to change your frequency, to accelerate your frequency, to let go of any illnesses, to work on this, so we reclaim our authority. Authority in a masculine, male macho, but more of a sovereign authority, and so we can govern these parts of ourselves that we want to transcend. And once we learn more, which is what I love teaching, once you learn more and remember more, you will remember. those codes of light within you in order to change our realities. You want to have better relationships. You want to have more abundance in your life. We want to have a better, nicer community, a tribe that we want to connect to. So all of these changes when we change. So open to change. Be like a child. Be curious. Be in love. And I know it's hard when so much is going on in the external world, but say, I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. You can say it 10 times, 30 times, 50 times, and watch how your body begins to spin. Yeah. It commands your fields to accelerate. And you can say, the joy and the laughter is mine. And then some people are very serious and very doom and gloom for what's happening, but joy is a state of being, and we can activate it from within. If you say the joy and the laughter is mine, it activates 2 keys of consciousness within the heart chakra. Then you giggle for no reason. Then you open up and something new ideas come in. And when we dance, when we sing, when we do something creative, knitting, cooking, then you do it with that flavor of curiosity, we receive more guidance. And you can do this while you're washing the dishes, while you're going. I don't recommend it when you're driving, even though I do it all the time. But once you get more used to it, you can do that. But Joshua taught this simplicity, and we like keeping it simple, not too complicated, because now it's time to become that which we say, to embody it. This is the time. Yeah.
Great.
And I leave you.
Oh, that was awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what you're doing with your podcast and all that stuff. And yeah, so
And
I'll go ahead.
you.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll stop the video. Just hang on one second. Let me see here. Okay.